Hello. I'm sorry I can't be with you, but unfortunately I'm still at work and still in the office. I'd rather be in Brighton, I'd rather be with you, but it can't happen this time. Adrian asked me if I'd just give you a brief overview of how the organisation started. And when I started to think about it, I realised that it was 1994 when I first approached P&O Ferries and asked them if I could lodge 2 people on their ship for free to travel across the channel. When they asked me why, and I said because I want to do research on whales and dolphins of the English Channel, I was expecting an uproar, a laughter, but I didn't get that. Instead, they just said, "When do you want to travel?" Well, that's how it started, but there was a bit of a lead up to that. What was the Biscay Dolphin Research Programme, now MARINElife? Why did it happen? Why did it need to happen? 1988, there was a phocine distemper virus, PDV, absolutely decimated the common seal population around the northwest of Europe. Now the UK has one of the larger common seal populations, and so the east coast of England in particular, around Norfolk, suffered very badly from the PDV virus. A joint rehabilitation and treatment centre was set up in Norfolk, and I volunteered to go and work there. What I discovered then was there were very few people in the United Kingdom at that time, in 1988, who knew how to handle marine mammals, who understood about the distribution and abundance of marine mammals, or the consequences of loss. The Sea Mammal Research Unit probably was the foremost organisation then, and probably is still today. But even so, the data we had was lacking. After the virus, after I worked in the hospital, I was asked by the RSPCA if I would rescue marine mammals on their behalf, be subject to call out, which I did. Started a charity to rescue marine mammals in 1989. By 1994, what had become apparent was that we really didn't know very much about the distribution of marine mammals in the English Channel. The literature, the scientific literature of the day, would tell us that there were no marine mammals in the channel. But the reality was very different. If there were no marine mammals, why was I dispatching rescue teams 13, 14, 15 times a year? If the only animals in the channel were common seals and the occasional grey seal, why was it that we were rescuing porpoises, dolphins, bottlenose dolphins, minke whales? How did a minke whale come to be crushed in Dover if it shouldn't really be there? What was obvious was that we needed some more data. Data was missing. So what I decided to do, was to try and work out a way that we could do a replicate survey, same height of eye, same speed, same track, same course, same time, same day of the week, every week or every month, as long as we could manage. Sounds simple, and actually living in Portsmouth or near Portsmouth, it was simple, because every day, 14 times a day, I would see ferries leave Portsmouth at the same time, on the same route, same ship, travelling to the same place. And so that's why I came to write a letter to Penny Guy, who was the then head of public relations at P&O Ferry, saying, "Dear Mrs. Guy, my name's Andy Williams. I run a marine mammal rescue organisation. I'd really like to put 2 people on your ship, on the bridge, observing all the way across to Cherbourg and back to see if I can see any marine mammals." When she invited me into her office, I was surprised. When she listened intently, I was more surprised. And when she said, "Yes, of course," I was quite shocked, but very pleased. And that was the start of a very long, very productive, very fruitful relationship between what became Biscay Dolphin Research Programme very shortly after that, and P&O Ferries. From there, things took off. We didn't see very much going across the channel. We only did two trips across the channel to Cherbourg, and we saw virtually nothing. In the same time, we'd had to rescue a striped dolphin from further down the coast. So the next question was, have we picked the wrong route? And in March of 1995, I again spoke to Penny Guy and I said, thanks ever so much for the trip across, but we'd quite like to go on the 4-day cruise down to Spain and back. Oh, I still want to take 2 people. Actually, I want to take 3 people, and I don't really want to pay for it. And could you provide us with cabins? And again, the answer was yes. But there was a caveat this time. Yes, you can, but you've got to take the television with you. And we had Newsround. Many of you will remember Newsround. It wasn't John Craven's, and I got quite told off when I said to the then presenter, is this John Craven's Newsround? And he said, no, it's not, it's my Newsround. But we had competition, was run on Newsround for, I think it was a month, to see who could write the best essay about whales and dolphins. The prize was me. It was a trip with me, Peter Evans and one other, on the Pride of Bilbao, from Portsmouth to Spain, conducting research. I can't tell you how nerve-wracking that was. For a start, I wasn't really a researcher. I was doing research, but I was doing research at Durlston. The research I was doing at Durlston was about behaviour. It wasn't about distribution. I didn't really want to be on national television. I had done television, but not where it was really the focus was on me. It was always the focus was on something else. It was a very nerve-wracking time. Our first trip, Newsround had announced the winner. She was a very young girl. Her mother was coming, so was her father. As it turns out, so was the head of PR, so was the head of marketing for P&O and a couple of other dignitaries, me and 2 real experts. With about a week to go, one of the experts wasn't able to make it and sent their apologies. About 4 days to go, the other one sent his apologies. He couldn't go either. So the first trip on the Pride of Bilbao for the Biscay Dolphin Research Programme was me and a little girl, and a film crew, and the head of P&O, and the head of PR for P&O, and the head of marketing for P&O. It was terrifying, but it was also very, very rewarding indeed. And BDRP got its name nationally into the psyche of everyone interested in whales and dolphins. Did we see anything? We did actually. We had 17 records from that first trip. Fin whale, minke whale, bottlenose dolphins, nothing spectacular. And as time went on, so we all got better at our identification techniques and also how to observe. So that was the start. How did it progress? We became very popular indeed. By 1997, we'd had 4 or 5 film crews with us, the BBC, BBC Wildlife, ITV, I think CNN. The ITV piece was very interesting because they came to do 3 minutes for a news programme. They ended up doing an entire programme. From that programme, a video. From that video, it became impossible for some of us, me, Tom, Rolf, to walk around the ship. Because as soon as we left the bridge, people were stopping us. Ah, you're the people from Biscay Dolphin Research Programme. You're the people on the bridge. You're the. And so we needed to do something else. Now, I'd been blessed up to this point. Tom and I had really started with Rolf, the Biscay Dolphin Research Programme. Tom had come on the second trip. Rolf on the second trip. And we were the 3 who, for the first year probably, did almost all of the research trips on the Pride of Bilbao. But it had got to the point there was an insatiable appetite amongst the passengers for information. They wanted to come on the bridge, they wanted to talk to us when we were having lunch or dinner or walking to the shop. One day it took me nearly 30 minutes to walk from the shop to get back to the bridge, and we knew then that we had to do something because by then the other observers should have been on rotation and getting a rest. Lisa, who was working at Lisa Browning, who was working at the Durlston project, wonderful supporter of BDRP for the early days, suggested that we think about how we can mix education in with the research. And that was where the wildlife officer concept came from. Entirely Lisa's idea. But I went to Penny and told her again, thank you for everything you've done, but now what I want is I want you to provide us with an extra berth in the cabin space for the crew, all meals provided, and what we will do for you is we will give a lecture at the start of every mini cruise, a lecture at the end. We'll provide guided watching on the weather deck, and we'll do some merchandising. All we want from you is those facilities. Oh, and could you provide us a prize for every single trip so that we could then raffle that and get some money for the charity as well? You won't be surprised to hear that she said yes. The wildlife officer concept was born, and the first wildlife officer, Amanda, stepped on board and started to be the public face of BDRP. It was always our intention that we mix research, education and information. I remember saying at a very early day to one of the television crews, the most important thing about research is that it's brought to the public. If we reach 1 million people, we have 1 million people who are better informed. If those 1 million people are better informed, they can make up their own minds. If they see something which they believe is wrong and is bad for marine wildlife, they can make their own choice. But they'll have independent information. So that's how it all started. In the next couple of years, we found ourselves being recruited by the Royal Navy, the US Office of Naval Research, NATO, Kinetic, to support them. Because other things we'd done was we discovered Cuvier's beaked whales. We took the second photograph ever taken of a Cuvier's beaked whale, the first one at sea to be recognisable as a Cuvier's beaked whale. We identified pygmy killer whales were 1,000 miles further north than they were known to be previously. We identified group sizes and distributions that had not previously been observed when large schools of dolphins are being subject to predation. And all these things made us different. We were doing work in the open ocean that no one had done before, for non-commercial species. All this made us very attractive. So when there was a problem with marine mammals being impacted by sonar, we were able to help the Royal Navy work out how to use their observers effectively to avoid that. It's been a long road. Unfortunately, I haven't been with you for the last 5 years of it. I've been working abroad, unable to get back, and there was a reality for me that in 2005 I wasn't going to be able to dedicate the amount of time I had done to marine life any longer. It was a matter of great sadness and regret to me. But I knew when I left that Tom was still there, that Colin McLeod was going to come in, and that the ideals, the aims, the objectives, the goals of marine life would be in very safe hands. I know they still are. I hope sometime to be back with you and to be able to meet with you all again, because really the best part of marine life was the people. The 56 volunteers we had when I was working there, the people who've done their PhDs and congratulations to them, the people who've done their masters and congratulations to all of those. We now have ex-BDRP researchers working as far away as New Zealand. And when I look out at the sea where I am here in the United Arab Emirates, and somebody says to me, as they did the first time I ever went out on a boat, "Nah, we never see dolphins," I think back to the very first day I got on the Pride of Bilbao. Got onto the bridge, walked over to the captain, said hello, and he said to me, "I've been doing this trip for nearly 3 years and I've never seen a dolphin." On that trip, I think we saw 11 different species of over 30 different sightings of whales and dolphins. And everybody on the Pride of Bilbao knew that they were going through one of the most important bits of sea in the world for marine mammals. I wish you all the very best. I wish to be with you next year if I can be. And if I can't, I will certainly be thinking about you. Goodbye.